So hello and welcome. It's great to see you again, although we can't actually see you. But we decided to have this session just to answer some of your questions that you've been putting forward to our transition email. So with me is Miss Prunty, who's in charge of Year 6 as they move into secondary school.
Okay, so we've got a range of questions that have been submitted from yourselves, from parents, from children, just that you might be worried about starting in September, because obviously it's a lot different this year than it has been. So we're just going to talk through them. Hopefully Mr. McCabe can help just to settle some of those worries that you might have, and help you just feel a bit more settled about coming to us in September. Okay, so should I start with the first question, Mr. McCabe?
Go on.
Okay, so will we be able to visit before the summer holiday?
So really good question. The latest government guidelines suggest that we've got to be really cautious in who we allow into school before the summer holiday. But one thing that we're committed to doing is making sure that we give all Year 6 students a chance to actually transition to Year 7. So it might actually be in September or the end of the summer holidays that we're able to initially invite you in just to acclimatise. But we're committed to making sure that the first day for you in school will not be a full school in full session.
Okay. What will it look like when we start in September if that's the first time we've come in?
Again, a brilliant question, and I wish we fully knew the answer to that. And because we find ourselves in unusual times with coronavirus, and the government have produced guidelines for schools to open. But at the moment, it's about cautious opening. So this week we've had Year 10s in for the first time, along with children of key workers. And all that's gone really well in terms of social distancing. We're not sure if September is going to be about social distancing or if schools are going to be back to normal. If they're back to normal, then that'll be absolutely brilliant. I suspect that social distancing will still be in place, which means that we're going to have a bit of a hybrid in terms of online learning, but also making sure that we have enough face-to-face sessions within school within September. But at the moment, I'm just fully guessing. So anything could happen, but we've got plans for every eventuality.
Okay. Where do we find information about the buses?
That information is on our school website, and if you go to the parent section of the school website, there's a whole part of the website that is dedicated to school buses. What it does do is it shows bus routes for this academic year, because Transport for Greater Manchester reproduce a new timetable that goes live usually in July. So there'll be more up-to-date details in July on our school website, but we'll send home a little reminder just saying it's been updated and that you can see the routes there. We've had no word that any particular routes are going to vary rapidly or widely from this year, so we're expecting a similar kind of setup to this year as is currently on our website.
I think in the first week as well, one thing to note that we do kind of put the pupils into groups, so you're on such a bus, you're on a different bus, so although they'll need to know where they're going on that first day, we do make sure that they know exactly where to go on the way home, so we do help them with that on the first week. Is there any work that we can be doing to prepare ourselves for St. Joseph's?
Yes, indeed. So we've sent out a little pack that Miss Prunty has designed that allows you to tell us a little bit about yourself and takes you through some of the thoughts about moving to secondary school. And we're going to supplement that with some information about how you can actually start learning in a similar way that you might learn at secondary school, and try to ease you into that. So that'll be coming later on this term.
When will we find out our tutor group and who's in our tutor group?
So in terms of tutor groups, yeah, what Miss Prunty is currently in the process of doing is having a look at all your requests in terms of who you would like to be with if you know somebody from St. Joseph's. But there will also be some people joining St. Joseph's who don't know anybody within school. And what we like to try and do is match those students or So at the moment, there's a long process matching students up with other students so that everybody has got somebody that they at least feel comfortable with. If you don't know anybody currently in the community, we're trying to forge those links, and we will be thinking about something that we can do to maybe do that virtually or remotely, if not in person. Would you add anything to that, Miss Grunty?
I will try and make sure that you're aware who your form teacher is as well. I think that'll be a big thing. So even if you don't know anybody in the class, if you've got a familiar face with your form tutor on that first day, that might make things a little bit better. Again, we'll just have to see how it goes, and can we do that virtually maybe? But we will make sure that everybody has opportunities to make friends and get involved in different things on the first few days. What clubs are available when school is open normally?
So a few years we introduced something called a bucket list of activities, and these take place after school. So what would normally be period 6, they take place from about 45 minutes to an hour, from 2:45 at the end of the school day. And there are also some bucket list activities that happen at lunchtime. So each year we ask the students, particularly in year 7, say, what are you interested in? What are the kind of things that you'd like to do? I remember back in September, some of the year 7 said, we'd like a science club. And I remember in one of the very first sessions, it's firmly etched in my brain because it set off a brand new fire alarm where they were boiling jelly babies. And that was part of a scientific process that was in a slightly more fun way. So we asked year 7 students in one of the first curriculum enrichment days, what would you like to see around school? And we try and match up the kind of things that you would like to do with the specialisms of teachers. So this last year we've had from sporting clubs to football to hockey rounders, things that are a request of students. We've also had things across school that have been book clubs, we've had science clubs, we've had the SVP group, we've had Duke of Edinburgh Awards for those students getting a little bit older from year 9 onwards. But basically, if it's something that you're interested in, then suggest it, and we'll do our best to match up a member of staff to be able to run something that meets those needs and desires.
They also have the drama shows as well, which a lot of the year 7s found quite useful to make friends. And I think it was a shame because we were just about to do our rehearse. We're doing all the auditions, hadn't we, for this one? So hopefully that can go ahead next year and the year 7s can get involved.
Last year, High School Musical, and this year it was meant to be Grease. But here's a spoiler: we might still go ahead with Grease, but do it later on in the year so you can be involved as well.
You can start practicing the parts. What colour is our year group school tie?
Aha, yes, and the year group tie for your year group will actually be a blue tie with a white stripe. So it's been newly designed for this year. The thinking is that you then carry on with that tie and take it through to year 8, 9, 10 and 11. So it becomes a bit of a trademark and part of the personality of your year group. So that will stay with you from year 7 and throughout school.
On the same subject of uniform, will uniform providers fit our uniform even though there's social distancing in place?
Yes, so our uniform providers have all put in separate plans to how they intend to do that. We have one uniform provider that does visits to the home, and we also have some uniform providers that have put appointments into place. So on our website there's links to all the uniform providers, so I suggest you click on those and just find one that matches your needs. So they're right across town, from the centre of town to here in Horwich to over in Aspel for anybody coming over from the Wigan side. So and also one that will travel and visit you at your home address.
Okay. How do I purchase a school dinner?
So you will very shortly, or your parents will be receiving an email inviting them to log into Parent Pay. Parent Pay is the company that we use so that your parents can put credit onto your account. Normally, we would use a system of thumbprints as the students are coming through at lunchtime. We've got a brand new catering service, and they are now called Hutchinson's. and they are devising a way for students to be able to get their lunches. It might not be using the thumbprint just because of touch in terms of spreading bacteria in the times that we find ourselves in, but another solution is being put into place there. So it might be a code, you'd be able to give over your code, and then the credit would come from your account to be able to pay for those meals. And parents can pay either using credit card or parent pay, or the old-fashioned way in terms of bringing cash into school that gets logged onto their account.
Yeah, you can also, on the first week too, what we usually do, obviously we don't know what it looks like yet, but we do usually, year 7 go a little bit earlier in regards to school dinners, so that'll help them just to settle in and get used to the new system too. What do I need to bring on my first day?
So we will be producing a list of the kind of equipment to buy, but within that list there will be the things that you would expect in terms of a pen, pencil, ruler. If you've got any coloured pencils, that would be a good thing to add to it. We also ask students to purchase a scientific calculator. So if you look out for those between now and September, you can usually get them, if you look carefully, for less than £5 in some supermarkets or even some of the pound type stores. Although it'd be a £4.99 store, wouldn't it? Not pound store for that. So you can shop around for those, but definitely well worth it. A scientific calculator for that.
What is ePraise?
So ePraise that's an online, almost like a virtual learning environment. So by that, we mean that it's a place that teachers can set work on for students. At the moment, we're using that just as a little checklist for students to be able to work through while they're learning from home, and some students learn in school to supplement that. But normally it'd be used to set homework. So you'd be set 1 or 2 pieces of homework per night. So in year 7, we'd be looking for about an hour, just over an hour's work every evening to supplement your work in class. But ePraise is also our reward system. So we use that for when you do an amazing piece of work, a member of staff might give you an ePraise point. You can then cash in your ePraise points and you can use them at our ePraise shop. And you can buy things like pens, pencils, rulers, footballs. There's sometimes tickets for Bolton Wanderers, or basically we go out to Student Voice and say, what would you like as the rewards that we could supplement and make sure that it's the right number of ePraise points for. ePraise is also used now electronically for reporting home to parents. We can also message students on ePraise, so students can message members of staff and say, struggling with this piece of homework, what does it mean? Can you help me on it? Or I can't open the link, etc., etc. So that's just been a really nice way of engaging with our young people, particularly when we're not seeing them at the moment.
If I have an issue on my first week at St. Joseph's, who can I speak to?
So within school, we have set up a system. So the first port of call would normally be your form tutor, because you'd have built a good relationship with your form tutor. Your form tutor sees you every single morning for 15 minutes. So it's a good person to check in with. We've also got a dedicated student support team with student support managers. And when you arrive in September, that student support team is going to be in, if you know the school, what is currently our main reception area. So some of those are non-teachers, so they're not in class throughout the day. Some of them are counsellors, some of them are experts in nurture, behaviour management, and they'll be good people to go to if you need any support throughout the day. Of course, your head of year will be Miss Dugan, and that'll be supplemented by Mr. Hodgson, who's the assistant head of year for this next year. So we've got the staff in place, so there's always somebody who will be there to talk to you, guide you through. And of course, Miss Prunty, part of the transition process, will be a friendly face that you'll also be able to go to.
What do I do if I get lost?
So if you get lost within school, and you will, totally fine, because what we tend to do is give year 7s a little bit more time to find classrooms around school. We're hoping to arrange some kind of activity for you just to orientate yourselves within the school. But if you're worried about that, don't be, because we've got a brand new wing to our school building, and So none of the students know the way round there, because very few students have been fortunate to actually look round the site as it was being built. It's now completely built, it just needs to be furnished. And what myself and Miss Prunty would like to do, there's a group of students that would like to show you around the building. So we're going to make a video clip just showing you where different places are. But when it comes to it, you will get a timetable, as Mrs. Horridge has already taught you through on the video that she put forward. And all you would do is just say, my next lesson is RE and it's in room 12. And there will be people on the corridors and other students that will be more than happy to say, I'll show them, sir, and they'll take you to that room. So don't worry about that at all. We're all in this together, and we'll all find the way through.
Another one is asked in relation to the same question of if I get lost, where do I go? I'd say to that, just ask someone rather than going to a specific place. Just ask. There's always, you know, particularly the older students will be willing to help. They quite like that when they get to year 11, helping the younger ones.
Definitely. Also, there's student support services that will be right central to the school in the reception area. So you'll never be too far from there just to be able to ask somebody and go to that desk for help.
Yeah. What happens if I'm late, but it's due to the bus?
So usually our buses are on time, but occasionally traffic around the area, or if there's an incident in the area, one of the buses is late. What normally happens is one of the students might phone up the office, or a parent might, or a carer might, and we know to expect that bus late. When that bus arrives through, you'll be registered through the office, and then you'll go straight to class, and that won't count against you because that wasn't your fault that you're late. So don't worry about that at all. The vast majority of buses are regularly on time, so that's a good thing.
Going back to one final question, going back to the forms, I know we've talked about how we're going to put them together, but we have had one question saying how will we find out? Because usually we do it, we put them all up on the board on the first day. Obviously we can't do that, so just a bit of information how we're going to plan on do that, on telling them which form they're in.
I'm not going to see. I'm wondering if you're going to answer that one.
I know. Well, one thing we are planning to do is, because we've never done it before, we don't actually know the logistics of it. I'm thinking it might be easier if we email everybody out, but it's kind of, that will be anonymous, so it'll just go to you, and then it'll be up to you if you really want to know if you're with your friend. You might just have to text them and say which form are you in. Because due to GDPR, we can't send out a full form list, so we'll just send out probably in the before at the end of summer, actually, when we've worked out how best to do it, we'll send you an email and it'll say you're in 7 Bernadette or 7 Teresa, your form teacher is, and then it'll tell you who that person is. But then it will be up to you just to, if you really want to know who you're with, you might just have to have an ask around, because we can't give out who's in every single form.
We're hoping to have a virtual meet-up with the form tutor, so whether that's a video or just your form tutor, just to say hello to you, and a bit about themselves as well. So then you've got at least one familiar face.
Yeah, and you know them. I think that's it from our questions, what everybody has sent in.
That's good.
Yeah, hopefully that's answered some queries that we've got.
I was dreading a question about the hair this morning. So maybe we should ask you to send in to us any really bad lockdown haircuts.
Yeah.
We won't.
I could send a couple that I've actually cut. Right.
Yeah. Well, it's to speak to you. And if you have got any further questions, then you've all got the transition email, and that goes through. Miss Prunty will look at that and farm those questions out around school. And we're more than happy to try and answer some of those in future videos as we go through. But it's been great to hear from you all. We hope you've been enjoying the transition series that are local films, but we've certainly enjoyed making them and looking forward to welcoming you properly into our school community.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see you all soon. Okay, bye, Yusuf.